Est-ce que ça marche? Ça a l'air de marcher. Qu'est-ce que ça donne au niveau du son? Bonjour Louis. Merci pour ton lurk. Alors, Millepertuis n'est pas encore arrivé. It's been a long time. Bon, espérons que ça tienne. J'ai dû reconfigurer à peu près tout. La webcam qui démarrait pas, Steam qui a planté, Botswain qui me sert à configurer le Stream Deck qui avait perdu sa configuration. ça commence à faire beaucoup. Hein. Je crois que le destin avait décidé que je ne ferais pas ce live, mais moi je suis plus têtu que le destin. Du coup, essayons de terminer Détective Grimoire. On est à peu près à la moitié du jeu, visiblement. Là, l'objectif de ce soir, c'est la petite forme. Hein. Donc, Attendez, je vais juste fermer ma fenêtre pour éviter de casser les oreilles de mes voisins. Ouais, on essaye, Louis, on essaye. On essaye de faire au mieux. Donc aujourd'hui c'est la petite forme, visiblement on est à la moitié du jeu, d'après ce joli pourcentage. L'objectif c'est de terminer ce jeu, et puis après je vous d'ailleurs parce que je suis fatiguée, mais j'avais très envie. Très envie de le terminer, mine de rien, parce que j'avoue que j'étais très intriguée par le plot du jeu. Hey, salut Max. Bienvenue, installe-toi. Ce que je disais, c'est que c'est la petite forme, mais qu'on va essayer de terminer le jeu quand même, puisque là on est à la moitié, que j'aimerais bien réussir à le résoudre. Histoire d'en avoir un de moins dans ma liste de jeux à faire. Et bah écoute, ça va, ça peut aller. Ça peut aller, toi. Comment ça va? J'ai vu que tu faisais du Pass of Exile tout à l'heure, mais j'ai pas pu passer. Donc,
Are we really talking about a swamp creature here?
Voilà. Très bien. Je me rappelle plus où est-ce qu'on en était. On n'avait pas des notes. Mais on l'avait pas résolu, c'est la dernière fois. C'est ma fête, mais le fait d'être seule me saoule. Ah, bah joyeux anniversaire! Joyeux anniversaire, Max! Eh ben, installe-toi, je t'en prie. Fais-toi plaisir. Fais-toi plaisir, installe-toi. On va essayer de résoudre le mystère. Mais... Ah non, c'est moi, il me dit 9h04. Hein. Est-ce que quelqu'un peut dire à Dragnis qu'un jour il y arrivera à voir l'heure du nez? Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on avait déjà comme option? Je ne me rappelle plus. Quelque chose that was hidden inside, autre chose. Ok, I brought with me disapproves. What? Ok. I found in the trike and explains. What? Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'on avait trouvé un truc dans la poubelle. Donc si je me rappelle bien, le mystère, c'est que le directeur du... Enfin, le chef... Hé, Révi, coucou. Nous jouons à Détective Grimoire. Et salut, Mille. Nous jouons à Détective Grimoire. And the swamp... the mystery of the swamp creature. Grosso modo, nous jouons le Détective Grimoire. Donc le Gus qui est au milieu, là. Qui essaye actuellement d'avoir une déduction. Qui est... Oui, Grimoire, exactement. Si vous faites point d'exclamation CMD aussi, j'ai rajouté des commandes. Vous devriez... j'ai rajouté notamment un point d'exclamation clip pour faire des clips. Alors c'est des clips automatiques. Exactement, ils tissent les fils du destin. Très belle référence, Révi. Vous avez notamment un point d'exclamation clip qui permet de faire des clips automatiques. Si jamais vous voyez quelque chose de rigolo mais que vous ne voulez pas... vous ne voulez pas interrompre le live pour faire votre clip, et bah Firebot le fera pour vous. Normalement ça devrait fonctionner si tout va bien. Et du coup on va pas y arriver à résoudre ce mystère hein. Parce que je papote, mais avec tout ça, pas le choix. Comment ça, pas le choix? Pas le choix de quoi, Evie? Dis quelque chose de rigolo. Quelque chose de rigolo? Voilà, donc et donc tu vois du coup c'est Firebot qui met le message automatique qui te répond et tout. Et donc voilà. Take a dam that was hidden inside. I brought with me the that. I found in the trash. Alors j'avais trouvé ça dans la poubelle normalement. Donc ça pourrait être un truc comme ça, parce que les deux autres, pour être honnête, je vois pas trop ce que ça fout là. Et donc... il faut qu'on trouve avec quoi ça va. Alors, ever existed, was doing last night. Is showing me. Smells like. Ever existed. Je pense qu'on peut partir là-dessus. J'ai un vague souvenir que c'était pas ça, mais...
costume design I found in the trash can explains what the swamp creature ever existed. I don't get it. Seriously.
Non, c'était pas ça. Moi, j'aurais bien mis ça, sinon.
costume design I found in the trash can explains what Burrow's black and white photo ever existed. Ooh, that's nearly right.
Ah, donc maintenant, il faut qu'on trouve... Ever existed... Was doing last night... Is showing me, peut-être? Et coucou, Akuma!
Black and white photo is showing me. My detective's intuition is kicking in.
Ah,
Black and white photograph. I'm not sure I'm looking at the real Boggy here, and I think these designs I found in the trash can might be the answer. I'll ask around, see if anybody knows anything about this. Oh, and I should start looking for the costume itself. If I can find that, there'll be some pretty impressive evidence.
J'ai déjà trouvé toute une partie du costume, en fait. Chapitre 2, A Deadly Disguise.
I have something for you.
Another gift already. Where are you keeping all this stuff? You don't even have pockets in that dress.
Tu ne veux pas savoir.
I don't need a pocket to carry a key.
What key?
I don't know. You could try it on any door you like. Although, I recommend you try it on that office door.
Remington's office?
Mm-hmm.
Une gamine mystérieuse.
Grass, trees. The tables and chairs are made out of parts of a ship, I think. Never really learned much about ships.
Alors, qu'est-ce que vous dites? Ça va? Pas fifou, mais écoute, on va essayer de terminer le jeu.
A shipwreck? In a swamp? Does that make any sense? And why is there a cafe growing out of the side?
Une gamine te dit qu'elle a quelque chose pour toi, c'est jamais une bonne nouvelle. Ah, là, dans ce cas précis, a priori, c'en est une quand même. Parce que ça a l'air d'être la clé qui mène au bureau du gars qui est mort.
Grass, trees.
Ça, c'est bon.
Water everywhere. And not a drop to drink. Seriously, I'm not drinking that.
Bah non, il faut pas, enfin.
Ah, yes. I heard they were sending somebody over. So you're Detective Grimoire.
At your service. Well, kind of. You're a suspect too.
Of course.
Non, c'est juste de la
Feel free to be
fatigue.
as suspicious as you like. I won't be offended. You can call me.
L'heure que je laisse
Harper.
l'audio. Et bah merci Max, à bientôt.
I can only assume I must have read about one of your many exploits. But I think you'll find the swamp to be your greatest challenge.
Ouais. Disons que la journée a été intense. C'est lundi, mais je suis fatiguée comme un vendredi, tu vois, donc tout va bien.
What's so challenging about an old swamp?
Du coup, j'ai pas du tout suivi ce qu'il
The
disait.
swamp itself has a history that has captured many imaginations, for better or for worse. My advice to you, look to the past. It could be the way forward.
I'm supposed to look to the past, right?
Look to the past. Même si c'est autre chose que de la fatigue, en vrai, je te donne du courage. Disons que là, je reviens d'un arrêt maladie d'une semaine parce que je me suis fait opérer. Alors, l'opération en elle-même est une opération bénigne, rien de grave. Mais du coup, j'ai repris ce matin. Enfin, ce matin, non, même pas cet après-midi, puisque je suis toujours à 70%. Si t'arrêtais de bosser le mardi comme tu bosses le vendredi aussi, tu serais moins crevé. Mais on est lundi 1000. Quel est le rapport avec le mardi? C'est demain mardi. I suppose to look to the past. Donc il faut qu'on regarde le passé. Donc Richard Remington, c'était qui déjà? Non, j'ai dit que j'étais crevé pour un lundi. J'ai dit pour un mardi. Je voulais dire pour un lundi. C'est que je suis vraiment très fatiguée, que je ferais mieux d'aller me coucher. Même s'il est que 21h. Founded the Boogie's Bug, when killed the swamp creature, when. Bah non, elle est pas morte. Built the museum. Was living in the swamp, when. Alors, je pense qu'on peut partir sur Lady Weybridge qui vivait dans le marais quand the swamp creature was discovered by the explorer. Voilà, became a famous character 60 years ago. C'était 60 years ago, hein,
Lady Weybridge was living in the swamp
le
when
vendredi, on
the
bosse pas, on
swamp
attend le
creature
week-end.
was
Bah,
discovered by the explorers 60 years ago. Lady Weybridge.
challenge unlocked. Tintin. Vous inquiétez pas, c'est une opération bénigne, ça crée de son troisième bras pour gérer les alertes de stress. Si seulement. Ça serait bien pratique, mais j'en ai toujours que 2, hélas. Non, bah pour être tout à fait honnête, c'est une ligature des trompes. Ce qui veut dire que c'est une stérilisation volontaire, et donc totalement bénigne. Mais je m'en remets plutôt bien, c'est juste que déjà j'ai une douleur persistante le temps que ça cicatrise. Hein, parce que forcément j'ai 3 trous à cicatriser et que ça se fait pas en 30 secondes, sinon ce serait trop facile. Donc voilà, plus la fatigue de la journée, parce que ça a été une rude journée de reprise. Très très rude la journée de reprise. Je vous avoue que des lundis comme ça, je m'en serais bien passé. Surtout après une semaine d'arrêt. Donc voilà. Donc il a dit look into the past. Est-ce qu'il a d'autres choses à nous dire? Oui, il a plein de choses à nous dire.
So, you sit in this boat all day and sell food to people?
Cicatriser en 3 secondes, ça s'appelle
Tourists, I guess?
caustériser. Oui, mais si t'as une
Not
brûlure à
just the
cicatriser...
tourists, but the employees too. To anyone who is hungry or thirsty, I know everyone's favorite foods.
What are they? Oh, and is this a real shipwreck? How did it get here?
I can't expose all the secrets of the swamp. I don't want to spoil your fun.
Is there a secret to this shipwreck?
No.
You just spoiled my fun.
You'll find out there are some secrets worth keeping when you've worked here as long as I have.
Well, how long is that?
I've worked in the swamp almost as long as Mr. Remington. We knew each other for a long time.
Really? So what was his favorite food?
Mr. Remington enjoyed a specialty only I can make. The bug dog.
The
He
bug
ate
dog.
one nearly every day. A real creature of habit, that one.
It looks like a hot dog.
It's similar, but I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. I'm not serving them today.
Why not?
Yesterday I found this strange green powder in my entire supply.
Guess I'm out of luck today. Well, thanks for the information. You've been a real big help.
Wait, take this with you. If you get thirsty, it's the most popular drink in Boggy's Bog.
Il m'a donné une boisson.
Swamp juice. Try it.
It looks like... It looks... Well, I'll try some later on.
You're in luck. That's my last bottle. A lot of swamp juice has been disappearing from my stock recently.
Tiens,
I
tiens.
assume I must have been selling them all.
Did something strange happen at the cafe yesterday?
Trash can, bug dog, that little girl, listed de café, murder the victim. That's the reason that left the cafe, feeling here after. Je ne sais pas quoi faire de mes deux bras, alors 3 full flame, cicatriser en 3 secondes, ça s'appelle cautériser. Ouais, mais ça, j'aurais déjà bien aimé. J'aurais bien aimé cicatriser plus vite, c'est frustrant. Parce que je peux pas faire tout normalement, c'est chiant. What's the reason? Ah, je pense qu'on peut dire un truc comme ça. Hein. Sold him bug dog, some swamp juice, was fired from the airdrop, suddenly burst into flame. Oh. Was fired. Sold him a bug dog. Alors, feeling here after. Harper sold him a bug dog. Je pense qu'un truc dans ce genre-là, ça doit être pas trop mal. C'est déjà pas. Ouais, je sais pas où les mettre non plus pour dormir. C'est fort peu pratique. Comme Rayman, ah ouais. Puis avec les bras comme ça que tu lances pour attraper des trucs super loin et tout, trop bien.
Richard Remington left the cafe feeling ill after Hopper sold him a bog dog. Hopper is basically in charge of all the food and drink here in Boggy's Bog. I'll have to ask him about this.
J'ai débloqué le challenge.
Someone made a costume to look like the creature. They must have known it would get a reaction for sure. But I wonder if they planned things to go this far.
When you're finished theorizing, I was going to show you these sketches I found in a trash can right next to your cafe.
It does seem like someone was designing a costume. A disguise, perhaps.
I don't know.
Try to think why somebody would do such a thing.
I don't know.
What could they achieve with it?
I don't know.
Not yet. You're going to ask me about what I was doing last night.
I was going to. Were you going to tell me anything?
I was working here at the cafe in the evening. And I had a couple customers. Eventually they all left and I locked up and went home.
Do you lock away everything at night?
Not everything, just the storeroom over there.
You mean that little door on the side of the ship? Is there anything else to lock?
I leave the chairs, tables, and trash can where they are. Lifting things like that is not a job for an old man.
Don't you have anyone to help you?
Mr. Remington liked to keep us down to his skeleton staff. There simply aren't many people who would choose to work in a place like this.
A skeleton staff? Well, that's convenient for him since...
Don't make that joke. I won't laugh.
Alors, voyons voir.
He's dead,
Hop.
but he always knew what he was getting involved with.
Alors, nanana, grave, plus besoin de tabouret pour atteindre le dessus des meubles. Oui, effectivement, je fais partie des gens qui ont besoin d'un meuble pour grimper au-dessus. Effectivement, j'apprécie beaucoup le fait que tu penses aussi aux personnes de petite taille, Révi. Rayman a un pouvoir tellement sous-coté. C'est vrai. Mais c'est vrai que comme j'ai un peu des problèmes de proprioception, je pense qu'effectivement, comme dit 000, je me prendrais le pot de farine sur le coin de la gueule. Souvent. Ok. Là, on va essayer tous les indices. Hein. Tu peux faire les toiles d'araignée sous la table. Oui, je peux faire les toiles d'araignée sous la table, mais du coup, il n'y a pas de toile d'araignée sous ma table. Comment ça, tu sais pas de tout? Oui, bon. Je sais même pas pourquoi je le présente tous les...
In fact, a lot of it has disappeared from my stocks recently.
Mhm.
It was Mr. Remington's favorite food. That strange green powder isn't supposed to be there. Why don't you show that to
Mais
someone
non, il n'y a pas de
else?
toile puisque tu les fais. Je ne suis que compassion pour les personnes à amplitude verticale réduite. Eh oui, mais du coup, ce que j'ai pas en hauteur, j'essaie de le gagner en largeur en ce moment.
I don't know everything, I'm afraid.
Comme ça, j'occupe le même volume.
That's the same fabric
Comment
for
ça, c'est
Mr.
pas ça la
Remington's
logique?
curtains. I can't help you with that one. Why don't you show that to someone else?
On teste, hein, des fois qu'il y ait des nouveaux indices, hein, mais pour l'instant, ça sert pas à grand chose.
I can't help you with that one. Sorry. Why don't you show that to someone else? You don't know everything, I'm afraid.
Buggy's costume, donc il nous manque une partie du costume. Lilou. Lilou exposante. Lilou cube. Exactement. Exact. Non, je ne veux pas quitter le jeu. Hop. Buggy's costume. Profile. Ça fait quoi
I
ça?
don't know very much about them. You have a lot of suspects on that list.
Alors je teste parce que je crois que j'ai pas testé ça. Plus de Lilou.
I don't know very much about them.
Ah, vous êtes mignon. Vous êtes mignon.
You have a lot of suspects on that list.
Beaucoup. J'aurais pas tant que ça,
I
ça
don't know
va.
what to say. You're prime suspect, am I correct?
Well, technically, but I'm not even sure he's real.
Don't worry about that. Real or not, the creature's the most important part of this mystery.
Which one? The cartoon character or the real creature?
Exactly.
Hmm.
He was a friend for many years. If you have any questions about him or his belongings, I may be able to help you.
Bon, on va faire le challenge. Allez, c'est
I was
parti.
told Remington left the cafe looking ill last night. Since you seem to be completely in charge of all the food and drink around here, I'm afraid this is something I can't ignore.
He was an old man. His health wasn't perfect. But I'm not arguing with you. I think it is suspicious. What do you think caused it?
What do I think caused it?
La poudre verte, qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Ça, non?
A bog dog he ate at the cafe gave him food poisoning.
I keep all my food locked in his storeroom when I'm not here. You think he was poisoned?
I think he was poisoned.
Poisoned by me?
The storeroom was broken. It was a lockpick. I prove that you poisoned your food. Left the food stocks outside. Je pense que c'est plutôt
The
celle-là.
storeroom was broken into with a lockpick.
Et qu'on a trouvé un lockpick.
I've never encountered a problem like this before. But since last night, am I in a position to doubt a claim like that?
Somebody knew that Remington would eat a bog dog. He ate one every day, right?
Do you suppose this explains the missing bottles of swamp juice as well?
Tin, tin, tin. Complètement. Bah non, on est fini du coup. Alors, popular drink salt, he has appearance of strange liquid slime. Harper says a lot over the soundbook. Ok. Ok, alors qu'est-ce qu'on a? On a 72% des notes. Crossroad, protest. Protest? Qu'est-ce que c'est protest? Je veux y aller! Comment on fait pour y aller? Ah mais je suis dans les notes là. Faudrait que j'aille dans la map. Give me a key. Non, c'est là que je veux aller. Stop swamping. Yes, the swamp. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
These flower petals seem a little out of place, lying on the ground over there.
Il y a plus de matière pour faire des câlins, c'est plus moelleux. Exactement. Tout est dans la moellosité et la douceur, vous voyez. Proteste, c'est très français. Exactement.
Ah, you've arrived at a bad time, my friend. For once, they don't actually want tourists walking around this place.
I always arrive at a bad time. It's what I do. I'm a detective, not a tourist.
My apologies. It's just, you have the same wide-eyed expression as the kids that come here. Running around, spending their parents' money, you know.
Well, you know, it's not every day I visit a swamp full of such unique specimens.
It's no problem. You're just thinking what we all thought when we arrived for the first time.
Why didn't they put in a bathroom?
No, you're thinking, this place is beautiful. What a lucky man I am to be here.
I am I? Well, if you say so.
Edward Everstone, at your service.
That's a pretty cool name. Can I call you Ed?
You don't need to. Everyone just calls me Echo.
Echo gives you an elevated sense of purpose. You're a good swimmer because you'd bounce and through you at a wall. Oh, merde.
Why? Because you'd bounce if I threw you against a wall?
What? No. Because I always come back. Again and again, until my job is done.
Ah ouais, d'accord, c'est une personne protest, c'est très français. Effectivement, c'est très très français, n'est-ce pas?
You're protesting, right?
I certainly am. And now that you're here, I'm getting you involved.
What does that mean? Yeah, I haven't got time to hold up signs for you. I'm sorry.
You simply have to hear my message and take it with you.
Go ahead. I'm all ears. Plus, I have a little notebook.
What was the first thing you felt when you saw the sign for Boggy's Bog looming over you?
Well, I thought it was...
Not thought. Felt.
I felt... Well, something seemed wrong. There wouldn't be a tourist attraction in the middle of a swamp like this. There shouldn't be.
My job is done. Clearly your brain is working perfectly, Detective.
So you're against the tourist attraction? Yeah, let's see. You'd rather this area was kept as a natural habitat, right?
Right again. And that precise word, habitat. First and foremost, I'm protesting for animal rights.
Well, okay, I'm following you, but it's not like they're cutting down trees or anything like that, right?
All animals deserve the right to live in peace, and I promise you, on a normal day, this place is far from peaceful.
Are you talking about the swamp creature? About Boggy?
A creature like that. He's earned the right to be left alone. We're fools to invite ourselves into his home like this on a daily basis, assuming he's not going to mind. Assuming he'll keep to himself and let us walk around with his face on our t-shirts.
Well, I agree. I think he should be left alone. But like you said, he can probably handle himself. And if no one has even seen him in 60 years, I don't really see the problem.
Unlike you, Detective, I never had an academic calling in life. I was never even a talented artist or musician or anything. So instead, I made the decision to stand up for those who were getting a raw deal.
You come here every day.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm only going to ask you about one of those days. What were you doing yesterday evening?
I was here at my protest spot until fairly late. Then I went to get something to eat at Harper's Cafe before I...
Wait, you ate at the cafe here? Doesn't supporting the tourist attraction like that kind of go against your protest?
A man has to eat, doesn't he? I don't think the meager contributions of one person are going to keep this place afloat. Especially now.
And you're sleeping here? Doesn't it get cold at night?
Well, I came prepared, of course. I usually find myself with 1 or 2 extra layers to wear. Most of this bulk is padding, I promise you.
I'm sure it is. So you stayed here the whole night?
That's right. And I admit I may have heard some stranger than usual sounds floating around the swamp last night.
What kind of sounds?
It's impossible to say. This place fills with the most terrifying sounds at night. Hundreds of animals, some tiny, some much larger, awaken and make their own protests. Every night until the sun rises in the morning.
Insects make noises at night. Okay, I've written it down.
Vous le sentez que ça va être l'éco-terroriste, le meurtrier? Enfin, l'éco-terroriste, le manifestant pour l'écologie. Il a une tête d'éco-terroriste. Je sais pas pourquoi. Peut-être le petit chapeau couleur militaire, là.
What can you tell me about these designs for a costume? A boggy
It's
costume.
Boggy! I must admit, I've been a fan of his before I ever came to the swamp.
A fan? So you're
Psychoterroriste
interested in
n'existe pas.
cryptozoology?
Oh, no, I meant, well, Boggy has been in all kinds of cartoons and comic strips. He's one of the greatest characters of the last 100 years. I've got some comics in my tent. You really should see.
He was only discovered 60 years ago.
Oh, that's true. Well, I rounded up.
But what about his costume? Have you seen anyone wearing it?
I can honestly say I've never seen anyone wearing anything like that. And I'm a very observant person.
Il est passé de protestant à éco-terroriste très très vite. C'est la façon dont il est présenté, je sais pas, j'ai un drôle de... Un drôle de truc, il y a eu un moment où l'écran est devenu tout noir, je sais pas.
I'm afraid I have no idea.
On va refaire pareil, on va présenter tous les
Show it to somebody else.
indices, hein, voir si on trouve un truc. Hein.
No thanks, my friend.
Tu veux pas une casquette boggy? Allez!
I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else.
Non mais après c'est vrai que
No
le
thanks,
capitalisme
my
a tendance à un peu tout détruire, hein.
I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend.
Non, il va rien me
I'm
dire.
afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else.
Ne vous engueulez pas les enfants, ne vous engueulez pas.
The one that man left here 60 years ago?
You seem a little unsure of the details. Shouldn't you have read up on all this stuff?
Forgive me. It's hard.
As a lovable character.
Just so iconic. Did you know, in 1973, he...
But you're protesting to protect the real swamp creature. The cartoon character is just some commercial byproduct, right?
Yes, of course.
Puis le fait qu'il soit fan de Boggy, c'est perturbant, non?
No thanks, my friend.
Enfin, je sais pas.
I'm afraid I have no idea.
Ça me
Show it
perturbe.
to somebody else.
J'ai l'impression qu'il est présenté
No thanks, my friend.
assez différemment des autres personnages qui ont l'air de s'en foutre un peu. À part lui qui est vraiment à fond.
You're asking the wrong person.
Ok, alors je sais pas pourquoi il y avait des points d'exclamation.
You're wasting your time with that one. A man who has sacrificed luxuries to protect those who need protecting.
Je sais pas
Pretty
trop,
good
c'est
beard, too.
bizarre. Ça me fait
He
bizarre.
seems like a good person.
Après, c'est
He even
peut-être pas lui,
sympathizes
hein.
with my cause.
He agrees with your protest? But
J'avoue
he
que le
works here,
réalisateur,
right?
je le
And
trouve
he
pas
was
mal
friends with
suspect
Redif.
aussi.
I think that was the only reason he worked here. Maybe he'll see the light now and leave the swamp behind him. Maybe everyone will. I have nothing to say about them. You're asking the wrong person. Ah yes, Agent Folder. A good man.
You know him?
We get on rather well, and we shared a number of views on the way things were run around here.
Boggy is my prime suspect, you know. The creature you're trying to protect.
Protect is the wrong word. If your suspicions were correct, we could both agree he's a creature that doesn't need protecting.
You think he might be the murderer?
I think he's a wild animal, and he wants to be left alone at any cost. The murder victim.
Since last night, yeah. But he was the owner of Boggy's Bog. Did you know him?
Not personally. To be honest, I'm quite glad about it.
Alors, 72% des notes. Ok. Où est-ce qu'il manque des notes? Woods. Woods, il a dit. Il me manque un truc dans les bois, visiblement. Un truc que j'ai pas vu. Oh, la gamine.
Ah, the great detective returns. Did you run out of ideas? Need a little push in the right direction?
No need to push me.
No need to push me, but the direction would help.
Like it or not, I'm here to help you.
I get it. You give me a map, then you magically disappear and hide behind a tree for an hour. You want me to be impressed?
Did you talk to all the suspects yet?
I'm working on it. You can't rush these things, you know.
Have you noticed anything unusual?
I notice that this is going to take longer than I originally planned, and I'm getting the feeling that I wasn't wrong about this tourist attraction.
What do you mean?
I had a hard time believing there could be a place like this here in a dark corner of a swamp. It didn't make sense, and it still doesn't.
Some things don't make sense straight away. You need to look a little closer.
At what? The mud? The water? The trees?
Nope. They've been here for years, and they're not to blame. They belong here.
She's gone again. Hiding in a bush, no doubt. I wonder if she'll ever tell me something I can actually understand.
Ouais, mais elle va pas donner toutes les infos, enfin. 4 sur 7, c'est cause de 4 sur 7. Ah, je pense que le truc en dessous, ça veut dire que j'ai débloqué le challenge. J'ai fini le challenge. Et ça, ouais, c'est qu'il me manque des indices, ok.
It's like a little forest back here.
Ok, est-ce que c'était ça le truc qui me manquait dans les woods? Ok.
The water's clear here. I can see my reflection. Not bad. This staircase is a tree. And this tree is a staircase. And this place is so weird. It's like a little forest back here. The rock path leading back towards the... The rock path leading back...
Alors, je ne sais pas, j'ai dû rater un truc. Non.
It's like a little...
Écoutez, c'est pas grave, on va aller voir à l'extérieur.
Even though I have the key, this might not be as simple as I'd hoped. This door has 2 keyholes. So, which key should I use in each one?
Bah super. J'aurais mis celle-là là, non? Celle-là là et celle-là là. Eh ben y en a du merdier.
Hunting memorabilia. Claws, teeth. It would be an impressive collection if it wasn't so disturbing. Hunting memorabilia. It would be...
Ok.
It's a sharp metal poker for a fireplace, hidden in the shadow. Something about those 3 prongs. I feel like I just stumbled across an incredibly important piece of evidence.
Dried blood. Covered in strange liquid slime. Ah bah oui, les 3... C'est un mot de merde qui semble la confusion entre le mythe et un indice légitime pour l'écologie. C'est actes terroristes qui sont là justement pour semer la terreur. Oui. Je sais.
An old hunting rifle, discarded carelessly near the window. This isn't the kind of thing I can ignore.
C'est comme le mot woke, c'est pareil, c'est un mot de merde.
Something happened here. There are signs of a struggle between the desk and the window. I don't know what's in that jar, and I wish it wasn't in there. I'm gonna stop looking at it now. The open window looks over the wooden planks outside. Oh, and on one side, a part of the curtain has been ripped off. No way. No way. Is this... This is the creepiest office I've ever been in. Photos and paintings line the wall above the fireplace. But one of the frames is empty. Wait a second. What are these pieces on the floor underneath it? This photo is ripped, but it looks important. If I can piece it together again, maybe it'll reveal a secret.
Ouais, un puzzle, j'adore les puzzles. Nanana. Hop là. Des chasseurs, bah oui, bah écoute, qui j'y peux, moi, c'est pour rien. Je suis pas fan des chasseurs non plus, hein.
This photograph, it's a young Remington. And some other men I don't know. They're all holding rifles. Maybe I can ask Harper about it.
First order of Kipro Zoological.
Have I uncovered a secret in here?
Is historical evidence. Alors, the hunting photo is historical. What? Belong to a secret society. On va dire c'est un truc comme
The
ça.
hunting photo is historical evidence that Richard Remington belonged to a secret society. I'm getting a strong feeling that Remington might be the bad guy in this story. If he wasn't already dead, I would have loved to ask him a couple of questions. I should ask around, see if I can gather any information about his motives for being here.
Oh, chapitre 3, dites donc.
Photos and one of the frames. Wait a sec. This photograph.
Non, mais j'ai déjà trouvé ça. Fais-moi la paix. C'était
These
ça que je voulais voir.
animals, they're all... I don't recognize any of them. Remington's desk is covered in drawings and maps and notes.
Oui, s'il vous plaît, ne vous écharpez pas dans le chat, sinon je vais me fâcher. Et je n'ai pas envie de me fâcher, d'autant plus que je suis fatiguée et je risque de dire des choses qui vont dépasser ma pensée.
It's all about Boggy.
Sur le...
He was panic bottle spilled into his work. I'm sure he didn't do that on purpose. Yeesh, it's a bit of a mess. Perhaps there's something underneath those drawings. It's a letter Remington was writing before something caused him to spill his ink bottle. My dear fellow, I received your note 2 weeks ago, but have only recently found the time to do the appropriate research on the matter. I feel like my time in this awful swamp might finally come to a close. All due to the simple realization, the rest is obscured. What a tease. It's a note addressed to Richard Remington. The handwriting is immaculate. Richard, our man of the world, a little help is in order. We're worried that the efforts regarding our elusive little friend might be in vain. Send word when you can. The letter is signed FF. And attached is a blurry little picture. It's some kind of metallic insect. The whole thing is a mystery. I have no idea. It's a note. The handwriting. Richard. Where was the letter? And it's some kind. The whole Vincent Vanderpeer's business card. There's a couple of numbers scribbled on the back. There's a map of the swamp lying on the desk. It's been annotated in a few places.
Ok, rien
There's a
d'autre
map of the
avant.
swamp.
Ça c'est quoi?
It's been.
Ça
There's
là.
a map of the swamp.
Non.
It's been.
On peut pas, y a...
There's some. It's a the hat. Richard. Where send the letter and it's some kind. The whole thing is.
FF. Alors, on a qui dans nos suspects qui pourra s'appeler FF? On a personne, hein? Ah si, Echo, peut-être, j'ai déjà oublié son nom. Dans les clauses... Ok...
This is the... This is the...
C'est non.
This is
Fusil
the...
là-haut, non.
This is...
Plafond, non. Ok.
I don't know what's... I'm gonna...
Ça,
It
non.
would... This is the...
Bon, et ben on va ressortir.
There's an open window. One of the curtains... So...
Les 3 pièces, le suspect. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a? Donc j'imagine que là, va falloir faire le tour des suspects, leur présenter un peu tout ce qu'on a.
I found these designs for a costume. A boggy costume.
The legendary swamp creature.
Yeah, that's the one.
But these are just a child's drawings, are they not?
You think?
Perhaps. It's difficult to tell.
You saw Remington last night, but had you met him before? Did you know him?
I've never really spoken with him, but we've come into contact a few times. Vincent likes to handle that kind of work, and I like to let him.
What do you think of this place? The tourist attraction, I mean.
I can't say I like the idea of a natural area like this becoming commercialized.
I know! I just can't understand why anyone would even try.
I think Mr. Remington had his reasons. He looked like a man with a couple of secrets.
Like what?
I have no idea. If I knew, they wouldn't be secrets.
D'accord, très bien. Je lui ai présenté aucun des indices à lui?
What
Ah
is
si.
it? Some evidence from last night's murder?
Allez, c'est reparti pour le tour
That's
des
great.
indices. Wouh!
I'm sorry, I have not seen that before.
Partie qui que ce soit, le juste esprit mon inconfort. Et pourquoi? J'ai envie d'échapper personne. Non,
What is
mais
it?
j'ai bien
Some
compris.
evidence
Je
from
sais
last
bien que
night's
c'est
murder?
un mot tout pourri, hein. Vraiment, hein.
That's great.
J'aurais pas dû le prononcer. Je te
I'm sorry,
présente
I
mes
have not
excuses
seen
pour
that
ça,
before.
Révi. C'était pas mon objectif de rendre.
That's the food I saw Mr. Remington eating at the
De
cafe
te
last night.
rendre mal à
Before he
l'aise.
got
C'est
ill
juste
and rushed back to
que.
his office?
That's right.
This is going down in my notebook. It might be important.
Bon, du coup, j'ai raté ce que je disais, mais c'est pas grave. Mais c'est juste que c'est. J'essayais de définir le. Comment dire, la perception étrange que me fait ce personnage en fait.
What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder?
Oui,
That-
that's great.
I'm sorry, I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great.
Ah,
I'm sorry, I
j'ai
have
un des
not
chats qui
seen
vient de
that
faire
before.
caca et qui essaye de m'asphyxier.
What is it? Some
pue la
evidence from last
mort.
night's murder?
Qu'est-ce que je leur donne à bouffer pour que ça pue à ce point?
That's great. I'm sorry, I have not seen that before.
Bon, on a fait le tour des indices, je crois. Oui, on a fait le tour des indices. Ok, les profils.
Try showing it to somebody different. The famous director and my friend.
Eh ben, c'est bien.
I really don't have an opinion. My apologies. You should ask someone else. Try showing it to somebody different. I really don't have an opinion. My apologies.
What should we talk
What
about,
can you
Sam?
tell me about these designs for a boggy costume?
Nothing whatsoever.
You're sure you didn't see anything like this while you were filming yesterday? Wait, hold on a minute. What if
Don't you dare ask.
This costume isn't your doing, is it? Made for your movie, I mean?
My friend, there will be no costumed idiots within the viewfinder of my camera. I can assure you that.
What about your boggy movie? Isn't that gonna be, like, a guy in a costume, or a puppet, or one of those weird robot things?
Technology has been kind to people like me. We no longer have any need for such tomfoolery. I can create a perfectly believable swamp creature within the confines of a computer. Much cheaper, too.
Il vient de dire de faire un bogey, qu'il veut faire un bogey en image de synthèse, lui.
I suppose you've met with our murder victim, Richard Remington.
Yes, I've been in and out of this place for a while now. Naturally, I've crossed paths with Remington a number of times. Good value, that one. A real raconteur, you know.
You liked him? So far, I'm getting the impression he wasn't the most popular guy around here.
Well, that much is clear, isn't it? The man obviously slipped up somewhere, made an enemy or two, and bam, that's that. You just can't be too careful, can you?
Yeah, I think he did have an enemy or two. Or three. But you liked him.
I respected him. Good head on his shoulders. Good business sense, that man. He understood how to make things work for him.
Ah d'accord.
You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important.
Eh ben c'est pas
If you
le...
want an autograph,
la
a
modestie
clean
qu'il
sheet of
étouffe,
paper
lui.
will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be
James
looking at
Cameron
items
du
from your
Marais, c'est ça.
collection. You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you.
Purée, mais parle plus vite.
I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection.
Oui, bah tu vas les prendre les 5 minutes pour regarder parce
You won't be
que...
getting very far discussing that with me.
Parce que j'ai des trucs
Try
à te présenter,
someone
hein.
less important. He's a talented man, that Burl. Sometimes I wonder if he'd be better off pursuing his photography full time, you know.
Ah ouais, carrément. Ok.
If you want an autograph, a plain sheet
Qui
of
va faire
paper
un
will
avatar
suffice, thank
cheap.
you.
Peut-être,
I
hein,
don't
peut-être,
really
on
have
sait
time
pas.
to be
Hein.
looking at items from your
Oh non, Avatar, c'est
collection.
beaucoup trop cher en termes d'effets spéciaux. Attends.
You won't be getting very far
Là, il lui
discussing
faut...
that with me. Try someone less important.
C'est pas un Avatar qui va faire, c'est un... Comment il s'appelle le film là, Found Footage avec des gens qui se promènent dans une forêt avec une caméra, il y a une histoire de sorcière là-dedans.
If you
Dans
want an
une forêt.
autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you.
Les schtroumpfs. Ah non, les schtroumpfs, ça coûte cher en
I don't really
maquillage,
have
dis
time
donc.
to be looking at items from...
Non mais magne-toi le popo. Dommage que tout soit passé dans les effets spéciaux, il restait plus rien dans le script.
You won't be
C'est
getting
ça.
very far discussing that with me.
Blair Witch,
Try
voilà,
someone
merci mille.
less important.
Je pensais à Blair Witch, il va nous faire un Blair Witch version
If you
bogey,
want an
tu vois.
autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important.
Voilà.
I'm a busy man and this doesn't look like it's worth my time.
Script de homme fort sauver famille en tapant autre homme fort. Ouais.
I simply don't have time to help
Ouais.
you with this.
Je l'ai pas vu le 2, hein, parce que très honnêtement j'avais autre chose à faire de ma
You
vie.
want me to sign a photograph for you? The world's premier director, the king of wit and whimsy. You met him? You're a lucky man.
Script d'Avatar 2, c'est celui d'Avatar 1. Oui,
He's been
effectivement.
working with me for a number of years. A real expert, of course.
Vous remarquerez aussi comme le mec qui était Andy, il devient plus Andy à la fin.
I'm a busy
Hein?
man and this doesn't look like it's worth my time.
Miraculeusement.
I simply don't have time to help you with this. Ah, yes. The reason we're all here, of course.
Not me.
Isn't he your prime suspect?
Well, officially,
Autorité
yeah,
parentale
but I
abusive
mean,
en
What
plus.
an amazing creature! No one has seen him for 60 years and he still manages to get accused of murder. Incredible!
Ouais, l'autorité parentale abusive, ouais, j'avoue que...
Now there's a man who could handle himself.
Eh, salut Leroy!
not so sure.
Well, apart from
Bienvenue,
yesterday, that was just
installe-toi.
a one-off, wasn't it?
Ah, for
Installe-toi.
him,
Je crois que je
I
vais vous
think so,
abandonner
yes.
30 secondes parce que ça pue trop. Hein. Ça pue trop. C'est bon, on a fini de lui parler à lui. On lui a présenté tous les indices et tous les profils. Parfait. Je vous abandonne 30 secondes. Il faut que j'aille enlever la crotte qui est en train de doper dans la caisse parce que c'est une infection. Je suis en train de mourir asphyxiée. Je reviens tout de suite. D'ailleurs, toi tu devrais être VIP. Hop. Voilà. Bon, donc on a fini avec lui. Alors, est-ce que dans cette zone on a récupéré tous les indices qu'on devait avoir? Oh, a priori oui. On va aller voir la madame qui habite. Je suis vivante. Ouais, tu as le point d'exclamation Tada si tu veux célébrer un truc. Ouais, je suis vivante, ouais, mais c'est pas la... C'est pas la teuf, hein.
This staircase is a tree,
Oh,
and
non, mais
this
je voulais
place is so...
monter.
This staircase is a tree, and this tree is and this place is so...
Je voulais monter, moi, c'est pas ça que je... Voilà.
I wouldn't be using this old rope bridge if I had a choice. I've seen the movies.
Et donc ça n'a pas débloqué le... Ah oui, non, je suis sur le bridge. Treehouse.
It feels like I've stepped into night. It feels like It feels like... Someone... Well, the line...
Ah bah oui, mais je charge pour rien, c'est ça. Ok, hop. Oui, Tada et pas Tada comme le TDAH, quoi, tu vois.
Check out that sunlight beam. This is like... The owner of this house, though...
Bonjour madame. J'ai des trucs à
I
vous
found these
présenter.
designs for a boggy costume. Do you know anything about them?
You're asking me because you can tell I'm experienced with needlecraft and sew my own clothes?
No, but
Ah mais
that's
oui,
a
c'est
good
vrai qu'elle était
reason.
un peu
Let's go
suspecte
with
elle
that.
aussi.
Well, these designs look like they should have stayed where they were.
In the trash?
On paper.
Oh, how come?
Whoever drew them didn't really know what they were doing.
You would have done it differently?
Of course. I am a seamstress. There was a time when I considered sewing my craft, my livelihood.
Really?
When Richard Remington arrived in the swamp years ago, I offered him some of my handmade fabric as a peace offering. I don't think he cared much for it. Most likely he threw
Une
it
vidéo que j'ai
away.
vue, TDA, je
A pointless
prononce
gift
ça là.
from some strange woman.
You've been here so long, you must have crossed paths with Remington a few times. What did you think of him?
That man was a threat to the swamp. We'd be better off without him. Hopefully the curtain will fall on his little tourist attraction as well.
Better off? With a killer on the loose now?
There have been murderers loose in the swamp before.
What are you talking about?
In my time here, I've seen the swamp invaded by men. By hunters. Several times.
Oh.
They're relentless.
What were they hunting? Wait, what about Boggy? Is that why no one has seen him in 60 years?
They always fell short of their ultimate goal. That just meant they came back again and again, doing more harm each time.
But this area is protected by law, right?
It is now, but some men have no respect for laws, of any kind. They tried to get me to leave my home. I stood my ground.
Obviously. But this whole area is a tourist attraction now. I doubt Remington would have allowed anyone to march into Boggy's bog with a gun and start hunting down his main attraction.
Ah oui, elle est suspecte elle aussi, hein. Bon, allez, c'est
No, thank
reparti.
you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might...
Let's see. First thing we do is put the sample of liquid, then tap the faucet. And now, we just have to match the color of that liquid.
Ah oui.
Got it!
Et sinon ça va et toi Leroy, comment ça se passe? Tu bosses toujours pour le resto? Je me rappelle
Now I know what
plus.
that liquid consists of.
Je me rappelle plus ce que tu m'as dit.
I'll write it down in my notes. Was that the same as last time? This was the exact same liquid.
Mhm.
You can put that away. I can't help you with it.
Tu as hâte que ça se finisse. Il te reste 3 semaines, ok, cool.
No, thank you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you.
Oui, non, mais c'est dans le doute, madame, je te
You
présente
can
tout, on
put
sait
that
jamais.
away. I can't help you with it.
Let's see. First thing we do is put this. Then
Oui, non, mais j'ai compris.
and now we just. Got it. Now I know what that liquid. I'll write it down in my notes. What's going on here? That was definitely the same as the other tests.
Eh oui. Incroyable, hein. Oh là là.
I recognize some of those men.
Ah!
Fortunately, they've hunted in the swamp before.
Before it became a protected area?
Before that, yes. And one of them after that.
Ah d'accord. Ok. Très bien.
No, thank you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you.
Oui, madame, je sais, je sais. Hop.
Let's see.
Allez,
First thing we do is then tap the.
on est reparti, hein. Ce mini-jeu est vraiment nul.
And now
Sachez-le,
we
je
just
le
have
trouve
to.
vraiment nul. D'autant plus qu'ils répètent le tuto à chaque fois. Alors qu'ils auraient pu genre mettre...
Got it. Now I'll write it down. The swamp slime. It's the exact same
Ah
liquid
bah oui, hein,
again. There's
incroyable.
something about that green slime.
Found on the green scene. Je pense qu'on peut faire un truc comme ça. Are covered and the black legging are covered in the swamp
The
slime.
fireplace poker found at the crime scene and the black leggings are covered in the same swamp slime. Sally's leggings. They link her with the crime scene. I'll have to ask her about it.
N'est-ce pas, hein? Ah, maintenant on va passer les
I'm
profils.
not even sure who that is.
Ah bon.
You should ask someone else.
Et il était pas censé la connaître
Show it to doesn't live in a tree.
Ah bon. Bon bah au revoir alors. Unlocked challenge topic. Merveilleux.
I've been looking into the history
J'avais
of
oublié
this place.
celle-là.
Oh, really? Did you find anything?
Yeah. You.
You must be confused. You found me today when you barged into my house. Remember?
You were the original founder. You created the myth of some creature. You are living.
You were already living in the swamp when the explorer came here 60 years ago.
The explorer? That man they talk about in the museum?
The one who originally discovered Boggy. You know who I'm talking about. His sketches and notes are the only real evidence we have for this creature.
You already have his journal. You learned to read, I assume. What else do you need?
There's a page missing from the journal. I think you know where it is.
Why on earth would I know something like that?
Because you were the only person here when the explorer visited the swamp. I have a suspicion that the swamp creature wasn't the only thing he discovered.
You're suggesting he gave me a page from the back of his journal. Or what, that I stole it?
You stole it from him before he left the swamp. Took it from the journal. I really have no idea. I could see.
You took it from the journal while it was on display.
Ah non, raté.
Let's think about this one again.
On recommence le challenge.
I've been looking into the history of this place.
Oh, really? Did you find anything?
Yeah. You.
You must be confused. You found me today.
Je ne sais toujours pas ce que veut dire le 4 sur 7 ici. Hein.
Remember?
Ah, ça c'était la bonne.
The explorer came here 60 years ago.
The explorer? That man they talk about in the museum?
The one who originally discovered Boggy. You know who I'm talking about. His sketches and notes are the only real evidence we have for this creature.
You already have his journal. You learned to read, I assume. What else do you need?
There's a page missing from the journal. I think you know where it is.
Why on earth would I know something like that?
Because you were the only person here when the explorer visited the swamp. I have a suspicion that the swamp creature wasn't the only thing he discovered.
You're suggesting he gave me a page from the back of his journal. Or what, that I stole it?
Je pense que c'est ça.
You stole it from him before he left the swamp.
Toujours pas.
No, wait, that's not right, is it?
Allez, on recommence. C'est reparti, on va y arriver.
I've been looking into the history of this place.
Ça fait déjà 1 heure que j'ai lancé le stream,
Did you
purée.
find anything?
Yeah. You.
You must be confused. You found me today when you barged into my house. Remember?
Donc,
You were
c'était
already
celle-là.
living in the swamp when the explorer came here 60 years ago.
The explorer? That man they talk about in the museum?
The one who originally discovered Boggy. You know who I'm talking about. His sketches and notes are the only real evidence we have for this creature.
You already have his journal. You learned to read, I assume. What else do you need?
There's a page
Page
missing from the journal.
manquante.
I think you know where it is.
Why on earth would I know something like that?
Because you were the only person here when the explorer visited the swamp. I have a suspicion that the swamp creature wasn't the only thing he discovered.
You're suggesting he gave me a page from the back of his journal? Or what, that I stole it?
C'était pas celle-là, donc ça doit être celle-là.
No idea. If I could see it, I might be able to make up my mind.
It doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs here, with me. You understand?
What if I promise I'll return it after I finish clearing up this mess?
Then, I'll show it to you.
Is this you? He drew you into his journal? It's beautiful.
60 years ago, yes. He left the page with me. We agreed the rest of the world would manage without it.
I think there's something on the back. What's this? Footprints.
Ok, Lady Wellbridge a 20 ans. Il y a des empreintes de pas avec 2 orteils. Ok, cette page prouve que les empreintes trouvées à l'extérieur du bureau n'ont pas été faites par le vrai Boggy. Et B.
He drew me into his journal. I was 20 years old. That's the end of the story.
I bet it's not. Does this explorer have a name?
Yes.
Are you going to tell me?
No.
Ok, donc il nous manque plus que 2 indices à trouver. Ça c'est bon, les profils normalement c'est bon. Hein. Change complete. Ok, les autres c'est bon. Je sais pas ce que ça veut dire ça. Page 1, page 2.
Not suspicious. Suspicious.
Who is fan of the bogey? Ah, mais attendez. Shares many views. Is not talented artist or musician. Oh. Change unlocked. Swamp is disgusting. Ok, bon. Où est-ce qu'on avait des gens à voir? Au café, je crois. Il y avait lui, là où maintenant on a des nouveaux trucs à lui montrer.
You said you knew Remington?
He and I knew each other for a long time. I came to work at his tourist attraction in the early days, when he needed help.
Well, what kept you here?
I know most people wouldn't want to work in a place like this. I actually like it here, so I was happy to oblige.
You might like it, but I still don't see why anyone would build a tourist attraction here.
Mr. Remington has his reasons. He probably had several. I don't presume to know what they all were. Even though we were friends, he had some secrets, some hobbies, that I was happy to let him keep secret.
Secrets? Hobbies? A secret hobby?
He was a man with a dream, I can tell you that much.
Ok, qu'est-ce que je lui ai pas montré comme...
It's Mr. Remington's fireplace poker. This slime on the handle. It's familiar for some reason. One of Mr. Remington's secrets. I never wanted to know the details, but these men travel the world, seeking mysterious animals to hunt. They consider myths and legends to be the ultimate prey. That's Mr. Remington's old hunting rifle. He usually keeps it around. For whatever reason, he was very fond of that thing. Looks like it was fired recently. I can't help you with that one. Sorry.
Les profils, non? Ah, si, lui.
It's here a lot. I think he's been putting less effort into his protests recently.
which is a shame. I think it's an admirable cause.
Do you talk to him much?
Not really. Sometimes he likes to talk, just casual conversation. He asks how business is going and what everyone likes to eat, nothing of real importance.
Ah, il est vraiment très très suspect, le manifestant. Ça me perturbe. Mais bon, on verra si on trouve des choses qui le disculpent.
I have a theory that the murderer was wearing a costume. A homemade outfit designed to look like the swamp creature.
I've never seen anything so ridiculous. You've never seen me in that.
I know it's not exactly the latest fashion, but...
No, you'd never see me in that. It would cover me up entirely.
That's the point of a disguise?
Look, detective. When you have legs like mine, you don't want to be wearing disguises.
Is that why you always wear those black leggings?
You've only just met me and you're making assumptions about what I always wear.
And making assumptions is the fun part of being a detective.
Well, you're right. I always wear these.
So what can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
I didn't have one. I think I spoke to him twice, ever. He usually seemed really busy, but more like preoccupied.
Preoccupied? Like he was thinking about something else? Something that wasn't this tourist attraction?
Who can say? What do old men think about?
What? Are you implying that I know the answer to that?
Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your
Je ne veux pas
pockets?
savoir.
Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is.
Ah, elle doit pas manger
Where are you keeping all
au
this
café.
stuff? In your pockets? Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is. Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets?
Elle a vraiment rien de plus intéressant à
I can draw
m'apprendre.
way better than that.
Can you show me?
There's no time. Maybe in the sequel.
Ok, les profils.
I don't know why she still works here, to be honest. One murder is one murder too many.
Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protests used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about.
Because he's so terrified. Est-ce qu'on peut dire que Echo n'a jamais parlé à Sally parce qu'il a peur?
Echo has never spoken to Sally Spears because he's so terrified. What is that supposed to mean?
Non.
There's something people have noticed about Echo.
More time in his tent. Putain, j'ai déjà oublié ce qu'elle m'a dit. Has recently acquired.
Echo has recently acquired the protest sign and less time in his tent. Oh, that...
Ah, je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas, je tente. Hein. Spend less time holding. On peut
Echo
tenter ça.
spends less time holding the protest sign and less time in his tent. I think that's...
Ah, peut-être qu'il passe
Echo
plus de
spends
temps dans
less
sa
time
tente. Et
holding
bah voilà.
the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
Genre du temps pour fabriquer un costume, par exemple.
I really don't know what to tell you. Is that one of the other suspects? They're more suspicious than me. Let's agree on that. Is that your new friend? Sweet. I really
Je ne
don't
sais
know
pas.
what to tell you.
Je ne sais pas, c'est une supposition.
Is that one of the other suspects? They're more suspicious than me. Let's agree on that. I think the cartoon character is kind of dumb.
What about the real creature?
I've never met him.
Me neither.
He made sure I always got paid, so I can't say anything bad about him.
You can if you like. He won't hear you.
You should have more respect for the dead.
I know.
Allez, c'est parti pour le
Like leggings
challenge.
you found in your bag this morning. They're covered in the same slime that was on the murder weapon.
Everything in this swamp is covered in slime. What's your angle, Grimoire?
Je dirais que c'était une partie du
Your
costume.
black leggings were part of the murderer's costume.
Costume? Is that why someone took them out of my bag last night?
Well, you know, I don't have proof someone else took them.
If I had been wearing them when I committed a crime, do you think I would hand them over to a detective the second he shows up? Besides, look at them. What do you notice?
You're too fat, they're loose and stretch. Je pense que c'est
They're
ça.
loose and stretched.
That's right, someone else. Someone larger than me has worn these. They're stretched out, especially at the waist. It's pretty obvious.
So, let's see. Somebody stole them to use in their boggy costume, and then put them back in your bag when they were done?
If you say so. It's not my job to know all the details. It's my job to sell souvenirs. Do you want a souvenir?
Oh, my, yes, but only if you choose one for me.
You look like you could use something to wind up. You can take this one.
Qu'est-ce ici? Lol. C'est cassé? On vient de faire une déduction de ce qui vient d'être dit texto de la même manière, sacré détective. La première réponse est fuyant qu'il s'envoie. Small plastic toy sold at the gift shop. Boggy's feet are hidden in a bucket of water. Ah bah oui, puisqu'on voit jamais les pieds de Boggy. Change completed. Je crois que je l'ai tout présenté. Hein. On va vérifier.
I always thought it was weird that his feet are in that little bucket all the time.
It's just part of the character, I guess. I'm surprised they don't sell some sort of boggy foot soaker.
And that would be the one product I'd consider buying.
Bon, écoutez les enfants, on est à 94% du jeu, on se rapproche de la fin. Courage, c'est bientôt fini. Où est-ce qu'il me manque des trucs à savoir? Alors, il y a lui, parce que lui, il faut que je fasse le challenge. Lui, a priori, j'ai tout. Movie director... Gna gna gna. Il y a 5 chapitres. Oui, non mais casse pas tout là. Ah lui, il faut que je retourne lui parler au musée. Musée, il est où là?
So,
I found these designs for a boggy costume.
oh, some ridiculous new merchandise for tourists to waste their money on.
No, I believe the murderer was dressed like this last night when they attacked Remington.
If they were trying to scare him out of the swamp, they should have spent more time making an accurate design.
What do you mean?
Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between the real creature and the cartoon character. It simply hasn't been researched properly.
What's wrong with it?
Well, those flippers? Pure guesswork. Nothing but foolish imagination. Nobody knows what Boggy's feet look like. No footprint has ever been recorded.
So tell me, Special Agent Folder, how would you do a better job researching it if nothing has ever been recorded?
Oh, well, that's... You know, I mean, it's all a matter of taking the time to... It's just that... But there's no way anyone would believe... Nothing but foolishness.
What can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
We didn't really have one, and now we definitely don't have one, but Look, all I can say is that he was a coward who enjoyed watering down history for his own benefit.
What does that mean?
It means there are some chapters of this swamp's history that he never wanted anyone to know about.
Did he like you sniffing around this museum all the time?
I don't think he knew, to be honest. And even if he did, there's nothing he could have done about it. He has no right to this building. He knows that. We both know that.
Why not? It was part of his tourist attraction, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Je pense qu'il a des choses intéressantes à nous dire, lui.
Obviously. You're wasting your precious time, detective.
Je sais.
A good example of how Boggy's feet are never shown in any form. They often use that little red bucket to hide them. This is just a piece of junk they sell to tourists. It has no resemblance to the real creature. I've never seen that before, and I never want to see it again. I have no interest in something like that. Obviously.
Ah oui, je sais, mais je te les présente quand même.
Time,
on sait jamais, hein.
I've never seen that before, and I never want to see it again. I have no interest in something like that. Obviously. You're wasting your precious time, detective. So, you found it. I wonder who else knows about it.
Son fameux passé de chasseur.
Is that the missing page of the journal?
I think so.
It's an important artifact. It belongs in a museum.
Yeah, you're not wearing the right hat to be saying that.
Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between the real creature and the cartoon character. I've never seen that before, and I never want to see it again.
Est-ce que je lui ai présenté tous les indices? Ah,
no
pas le
interest in
legging.
Something like that. Obviously. Next time, only show me something if it's important. Let's make that a rule. Oh, yes, I know him. He occasionally asks me about the history and biology of the swamp creature. I explained to him what the real Boggy looks like and how they changed his appearance for the cartoon character.
Why did he ask about that?
Because some people are naturally curious. You should give it a try sometime. This person is of no interest to me whatsoever. If I cared about that person, I would know everything I need to know already.
Ah bon, bon bah c'est... Non mais j'ai déjà fait le challenge, foutez-moi la paix. Est-ce que j'ai récupéré toutes les infos sur cet endroit là? A priori oui, hein. Est-ce que j'ai récupéré toutes les infos sur cet endroit? Oui. Alors dans les woods, il y a un endroit là où j'ai pas trouvé dans les bois. Alors il y a dans les bois, il manque des choses. Dans la tree house. Dans le café. Swan Dock, il n'y a pas d'indice. Entrance. Protest. Ah, protest. Là où il y a la manifestation, j'ai pas tout vu. Gift shop. Café. Alors. Parce que là, il nous dit qu'on est à 98%, donc j'imagine qu'on n'est pas très loin de la fin. 96% des indices, il nous en manque qu'un seul. Et 86% des notes, donc j'imagine que du coup si on lui parle à lui, après ils vont nous demander de résoudre l'énigme. J'imagine. Donc là je vous propose qu'on essaye de compléter les petites notes. Et trouver le dernier indice, au passage. Donc on a dit, on va reprendre la liste. On va prendre un petit papier et prendre des notes. Hein, quand j'aurai retrouvé mon petit bloc-notes. Voilà. Est-ce que c'est mon petit bloc-notes? Oui, c'est bon. Alors, donc la liste des trucs à revérifier. Avec quoi on va prendre des notes avec ça, allez. Donc le protest. On nous manque 2 indices. Ensuite, les woods, il nous en manque un. Tree house. Il nous en manque un. Le café. Il nous en manque un aussi. Et le reste, ça a l'air bon. Voilà. Pour les suspects, il nous reste un challenge à faire, c'est celui-là. Ok, pour les indices, il nous manque un indice. Est-ce qu'on n'essaierait pas de voir s'il n'y a pas la gamine à retrouver à certains endroits aussi? Parce que si... Ah bah tiens.
You again. Ready with some cryptic advice, no doubt?
Don't let them take him.
Who? The murderer? That's my job. I gotta make sure that they...
No, the creature. Don't take him away. This place is his home.
Oh, Boggy. Hey, don't worry. I didn't really believe he could be, responsible for this mess.
You didn't?
Well, no. I've always known who the murderer was, and it's not Boggy.
So, he won't get in trouble? You won't have to leave?
Well, he's been out here for what, 60 years, hasn't he? And stayed out of trouble for that long. I have a feeling some detective isn't going to change all that in one day.
Well, in that case, he says... Thank you.
Oh. Hey, j'ai eu un succès pour ça. Finish speaking to the little girl. Hehe. J'ai même pas fait exprès. Je pensais qu'elle avait plus de choses que ça à nous dire. Alors donc... Maintenant, cherchons les indices manquants. Alors, donc on avait dit un par... Ah oui, bah non, lui on a dit qu'on faisait en dernier.
A rather prominent tree stump looming. It's hard to ignore. I'm impressed someone managed to pitch a tent here. And I'm impressed someone would want to.
Ah, je crois qu'on a trouvé...
It's a colorful, boggy-themed padlock. He's staring into my soul. It should open if I set the right number.
Ah,
It's a colorful piece.
Ah oui, mais c'est quoi le bon nombre? Alors attendez, les notes c'est là. Alors non, c'est pas ça que je voulais. Foutez-moi la paix!
Looks like this path. I can't. Looks like this path. Looks like I can't. A rather. It's hard to.
C'est quoi ce point d'interrogation? Ah, c'est le nom de challenge. Next time I'm stapling the stupid hat to my head. Ok. You can click and hold the back button. Oui, bah je sais, ça va. Donc celle-là, on a dit qu'on ferait en dernier. Donc on va aller dans Woods. Dans Woods, on va essayer de voir.
I can see not bad. The water's I can see not bad.
Qu'est-ce
The
qui
water's
nous
clear
manque?
here. I can see my reflection in it. Not
Et
bad.
là, c'est le chapitre 1. Non, on est au chapitre 4, Evie.
What's this? Looks like there's stuff in the water.
Ah!
Maybe if I reposition them.
Voilà un truc qu'on n'avait pas trouvé. Comme ça peut-être. Un truc comme ça. Alors. Alors attendez, non plutôt le gros caillou.
I recognize that footprint. It's the same as the one found at the crime scene.
Est-ce que ça veut dire que j'ai tout trouvé dans les bois? J'ai tout trouvé dans les bois. Parfait. Donc la tree house. Je vais y arriver. Hein. Je vais arrêter de me mélanger les pinceaux dans les boutons un jour, promis. Hein.
The tree comes straight. It even has little. Okay, even. I'm in. A little blanket. It makes. I'm indoors. I'm indoors. Though. Check out that sunlight beam. There's a whole load of needles and wool on that shelf. Or should I say yarn? I just don't. This is like... it's so old-fashioned. Check out that sun. A little blanket. It makes... I'm indoors.
Ah, un papier là.
I'm indoors.
Ah non.
There's a book on the table. I think it's a book about how fascinating. I must take some time to read.
Attends, c'était ça la note qui me manquait là, le bouquin qu'elle m'a filé? Single bed. Live alone. There's a book of full pressed flowers on the table. Oui. Faut pas me dire que c'était l'indice manquant, non? Non, ça va. Donc la treehouse, c'est bon. Il nous reste le café.
There's a little lock. I think it's part of the cafe.
Bah le café c'est bon. Ok. Bon bah écoutez, on va continuer hein. On va aller affronter l'écologiste.
A rather prominent. It's looks like this path leads to. Looks like this.
Truc à trouver hein. Mais...
Looks like this path. I'm impressed someone managed to. And I.
Pour la date, j'avoue que je sais pas. Flower book, flowers, folders file. Est-ce qu'on a genre une date peut-être ou un truc comme ça? Est-ce qu'il a l'air d'être super fan? Attends, mais je crois qu'il a parlé de 1970 tout à l'heure, non? 1978 peut-être? 1978. C'était pas un truc comme ça? Attendez, peut-être que je clique sur le...
It's a color piece. It's echoes.
Je vais aller voir dans mes notes de suspect. Protesting hippie. Protesting for animal rights in the swamp. Fan of the boggy cartoon character.
Suspicious.
Has been spending more time in his tent recently. Doesn't know about the real swamp creature. Has not been his talented artist, musician. Est-ce qu'on a dans les notes du musée une date? Est-ce que je me demande si c'est pas... On va aller retourner au musée et voir les objets de plus près parce que je...
It's a poster from the old...
me demande...
Copyright MCN. That'll be 19...
Alors, si on essaye 1934...
1934?
Peut-être...
It's a poster... Some educational... Did you know swamps are...
Ouais, ça me donne pas une date plus précise. Ça. Donc je pense que comme il est très fan du...
Models of some...
Comme il est très fan, je pense que c'est peut-être la date de la série, la 1934. Oh.
It's a journal. I guess it belongs to Echo. Bad news. Remington is dead.
Bad news.
I don't know what to do. Was my whole protest in vain? They'll shut this place down, sure, but I'll never know if I got through to him. That's all he's written. It's Echo's tent.
Surprenant.
There's...
Surprenant. Bah, je l'ai peut-être jugé un peu vite. Je présente mes excuses à toutes les personnes qui ont fait ce genre de... qui ont pu être vexées par mes propos.
Ah.
Je le trouvais très suspect. Attendez une seconde, je vais vérifier un truc. Si c'est ça, hein, j'ai tout maintenant. C'est bon, on a tout. Par contre, on n'a pas encore trouvé le dernier indice, qui doit être la dernière partie du costume, et il nous manque...
So, what did Mr. Remington think of you? I mean, protesting in the middle of a swamp every day.
It wasn't his swamp. If he ever truly thought it was, he was even more of a fool than he seemed.
But he didn't like you hanging around, right?
That man was exceptionally skilled at ignoring me. Ignoring anything he didn't like.
So, what? He just left you alone?
He expected me to get bored and go home. He figured I'd get sick of this place and he'd have it back to himself.
But he didn't want it to himself, did he? He wanted lots of people to come visit all the time, surely.
I'm sure it says that in the brochure. Yes.
Tout de suite, c'est le plus barbu, le suspect. Ça n'a rien à voir avec sa barbe, c'était la façon dont il était présenté qui m'a mis le doute.
I'm afraid I have no idea. Why are you carrying that around with you?
I have a suspicion it may have been the murder weapon.
Really? I thought Remington was attacked by something with claws, wasn't he?
What?
You're not a bad detective.
Well, I found the photo in Remington's office. It was ripped up, though. I think he was some kind
He
of...
was a lot of things. Don't lose that picture. And show it to Mr. Harper before you leave.
C'était qui, Mr. Harper?
Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend.
Ah oui, Harper, c'était le tenancier. On va faire le challenge.
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
Untouched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
LOL.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time. You've been hiding in your tent because the swamp is haunted.
Why not?
Quoi? Mais non, j'ai dit ça pour le LOL. Parce que j'avais vu qu'il y avait un succès.
Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to
Mais
ask.
non.
People have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best.
Oui, j'ai mis le fantôme parce que j'ai vu qu'il y avait un succès.
You can put your notebook away. There isn't
Que c'est le fantôme d'un autre jeu qu'on a fait
writing down, at least.
ensemble.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Badoumt.
Look, if you take a guess and get it
Maniez-vous le
right, I promise not to
popo.
deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away. Notebook
Bon.
time.
Alors, c'est quoi? C'est le temps pourri. I have silly nickname, lol. Tax fraud, non? On peut tenter le bogey costume, hein?
You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Hiding from bogey.
Why not?
C'est un peu con ce que tu viens de dire, Jean-Claude, là.
In your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask.
C'est moi ou il propose que des questions, que des réponses stupides pour ce challenge-là?
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in this notebook time.
On va tenter la taxe.
You've been hiding in your tent from the taxman.
The taxman, Tintin. Ok, non mais c'est chiant là parce qu'en vrai, il propose que des questions, que des réponses stupides. Ah voilà, chapitre 4. Mais il me manque toujours un indice que j'ai pas trouvé, hein. Mille, tu sais où on le trouve celui-là? Le dernier là?
Looks like this path leads towards the northwest corner of Boggy's Bog.
Succès. Il me reste quoi en succès à faire, tiens? Complete the game 100%. Full suspicion on the culprit, known to anyone else. Faut savoir qui est le coupable, hein. Hop. Parce que j'avoue que là, j'ai l'impression d'avoir bien fouillé. Je sais pas où est la dernière... Je sais pas où est le dernier morceau de costume, quoi. Est-ce qu'on a... 8 piece, gloves... Black leggings... donc il nous manque les patounes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Il nous manque les patounes et le corps. Et ou le corps. J'avoue que là, les patounes, je sais pas où les trouver, hein. C'était quoi les empreintes qu'on a trouvées, là? Free tooth footprints. To some reeds by the water. Je suis allée trop loin. Ah, mais c'est pas là que je voulais aller. Regarde là.
What's this?
Là, c'est là où il y avait les empreintes.
The water's clear. I can see my... Not bad. The water's clear. I can see my... Not bad. The water's clear here.
Est-ce que quelqu'un a la moindre idée d'où pourrait être le dernier indice? Le dernier morceau de costume qui nous manque. Ça là. Parce que je serais quand même triste d'avoir réussi à tout trouver sauf le... Sauf le dernier truc, quoi. Est-ce que vous allez me forcer à chercher un guide? On peut chercher un guide après tout, hein, mais... C'est quand même dommage. Guide... Ah! Retourne en arrière! Achievement guide. On va essayer juste de pas se regarder. Story... Boogie Fan Club... Who's that little girl? Je vais pas descendre en bas parce que je pense que ça va me spoiler la solution. Not locations, détective Grimoire. 100% achievement. Non mais justement, j'arrête juste avant. J'essaye de pas me spoil. J'essaye de pas me spoil. Attendez, c'est lequel le succès C'est pas nice hat. Wait for the credit finish to get your achievement and listen to the conclusion. On the swamp. Intruder alert. Complete the game, 100%. Number to go and present them with the clues and suspect profiles. Donc le dernier, c'est les flippers. Mais les flippers, je sais pas où on les trouve, en fait. Ah! Non, j'ai pas vu, le dernier. Promis, j'ai pas vu. Où est-ce qu'on les trouve, les flippers? Attendez, on va chercher dans le forum, flippers. Ah! The flippers are located the same place as you find the marks of the dead body outside the office. Ok. Ok. J'ai réussi à ne pas me spoil. Détendons-nous. Donc c'est à l'extérieur du bureau, elle a dit dans les buissons. C'était là, quoi.
A strange pair of green flippers.
Design is incorrect. The red buggy a 2 stores at the front and 1 at the back. Bon, on est reparti pour faire la tournée des PNJ. Wouh! Allez, on est reparti. Present a clue. Ah bah j'avais des trucs à leur montrer. Écoutez, je ne sais pas si ça compte dans les 100% du jeu. Dans le doute, je fais. Hein. C'est chiant, promis, on se dépêche et après on va résoudre l'énigme. Non, c'est pas ça que je voulais faire.
You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you.
Est-ce que tu veux écrire sur le jouet en plastique? Ça va pas bien. Ok. Ok, hop, donc tac, muséum. Eh monsieur, j'ai des trucs à te montrer. Regarde mes belles flippers. Wouh, complete the game 100%. Voilà, donc ça c'est fait. Donc maintenant on peut retourner au début.
You finally returned. Well, did you find the swamp creature? Where is he?
I didn't find him.
What? You're not getting paid to wander about aimlessly, Grimoire. Get back out there.
I don't need to. Final chapter. On va y arriver.
Why not? I thought he was our prime suspect.
Well, not anymore.
Didn't you find photographic evidence of Buggy from last night? Let me see that photo. If that's not Buggy, what is it?
I found designs for the costume in a trash can. Not only that, I collected all the pieces of the costume myself. Well, nearly all of them. It's still the one that...
But the footprints at the scene of the crime! How can you prove these don't belong to a real creature? What's this? I thought there were no records of a footprint anywhere.
No public records. The footprints at the crime scene don't match the ones on this page. They were just a product of these flippers. A part of the costume.
But Grimoire, this costume, it doesn't have claws of any kind. How do you explain the 3 wounds on the victim's chest?
The prongs match up with the wounds perfectly. The handle's even covered in slime, see?
But this swamp slime was one of the reasons Buggy became a suspect in the first place. Surely this only incriminates the creature further.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that slime, it's not exactly what you think. This stuff is an uncanny resemblance to the so-called swamp slime. A bunch of it was stolen from the storeroom of the cafe, which reminds me.
What is that, exactly?
A poisoned hot dog. It's the second reason that the murderer broke into the storeroom. He put this green powder on the entire supply, just to make sure.
To make sure of what?
When would he do the cafe again? It runs swamp. No.
To make sure Remington got ill and had to return to his office.
Remington went back to his office? Alone?
Eh oui, tan tan tan.
I've been looking through your evidence, Grimoire. One piece in particular seems critical to me. I think we need to work
The
out.
video footage? Vincent Vanderpeer filmed it last night, at the exact moment of the murder, I believe.
Well, exactly. I think we can both agree these sounds in the background. They're essential in our mystery. Could you talk me through them? Just rearrange the descriptions on the left to match the sounds on the right. Drag them around and keep swapping until you're happy with the order. And if you want to hear the sounds again, you can tap on them.
No problem. I can always check my case file if I want to go over my notes.
Alors... Qu'est-ce qu'on a? Lens on the plank. Fire. Ok, donc ça c'est fire. Alors... Tries out in stock. Ça, non? Hip-off. Cries out in shock and falls. Ça doit être ça. Runs on the blank. Je pense que c'est ça. Cries out in shock as boggy appears. Ça. Ça, c'est le clank. Ça, comme ça.
I think that's it.
Ah bah mais j'ai pas fini.
Ah, excellent. There's just two small details bothering me. First of all, if Remington ripped off a piece of his curtains, why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Quoi?
Why wasn't it found at the crime scene?
Je ne sais pas, je ne sais plus. Je suis perdue. Je sais pas. Le bout de rideau, je me rappelle plus. Je peux pas avoir mes notes là.
Je ne sais pas.
Pourquoi tu me routes, Tinou? Honnêtement, je ne sais pas ce qui est arrivé au bout de rideau, je ne me rappelle plus. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a, Tinou? Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Qu'est-ce que tu veux?
Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Je ne sais pas ce qui est arrivé au bout de rideau. Je ne sais même plus où je l'ai trouvé. Je ne sais même plus ce que j'ai testé. Je ne sais pas, on va refaire toute la liste. Ça va être extrêmement chiant. Le flic qui va devenir fou, ouais, non, mais là c'est moi qui n'arrive plus à suivre en fait. Je commence à être vraiment fatigué, j'arrive plus à suivre, c'est horrible. Quelqu'un se rappelle de ce qui s'est passé avec ce bout de rideau et avant qu'on ait fait toute la liste? N'hésitez pas à vous manifester.
Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Heureusement qu'on n'a pas un nombre limité d'essais parce
Why
que...
wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Parce que voilà quoi.
Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it? Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it? Why wasn't it found at the
Je ne sais
crime
pas, je
scene?
ne sais
What
pas.
happened to it? Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it? Why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a,
happened to it?
Tinou? Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Qu'est-ce que tu veux, petit chat?
Turns out the murderer took that piece of fabric and concealed it inside the head of the costume.
Ah oui, c'est vrai.
Then he fled the crime scene to hide all the parts in different areas of the swamp.
Ah, well, that's my problem. If Remington fired his rifle, how did the assailant survive and manage to escape? Did Remington miss his target?
At point blank? A man of his experience? I don't think so. In fact, the answer to that question is the very last link in our chain. The one thing that has eluded me so far. I'll drag the clue items from the left onto my drawing here, and we'll see what happens when we compare the pieces I collected with the original design I found.
Pied. Tête.
Wait, you never found the body piece, the torso.
Mais oui.
You're right, and I never would have found it. Not lying around, not like the others.
But what does this have to do with the murderer surviving the rifle shot?
This torso is probably made up of some thick material, something covering the culprit's entire upper body. I believe it may have even been enough to
soften the impact from a bullet. Aha!
Non,
Exactly.
Tino, pas les griffes, pas les
Well, let's put
griffes.
your theory to the test. Where is that last piece of the costume?
Ah bah ça, j'en sais rien. J'en sais rien, moi, où est-ce qu'elle est, la dernière pièce du costume Je suis pas devin.
Where is that last piece of the costume?
Je sais pas, moi, comment on sait.
Where is that last piece of the costume?
C'est pas grave, on va tester tous les emplacements jusqu'à tomber sur le bon, hein.
Last piece of the costume. But how? We looked everywhere. Not a single clue.
T'es pas devin, mais t'es passé devin.
He's still wearing it.
Oh. Et merde, j'avais raison.
I don't know what you want with me. Sounds like you two were smart enough to uncover the real criminal in this swamp, and lucky enough to have somebody else deal with him for you. You worked it out. He had his rifle on him. He got half a glance at me and pulled the trigger without hesitation.
But why would he do that? You were dressed as Buggy. He shouldn't be pointing his gun at a unique scientific specimen, not to mention his main attraction.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Not unless you're in on the secret.
Ça se passe bien. Eh ben écoute, on est en train de finir, hein. T'es pas devin, mais t'es passé devin. J'ai pas compris ta blague, mais il va falloir m'expliquer. Mais on est en train de finir, là. On est sur la conclusion. On est en train d'essayer de voir... A priori, c'est bien Echo qui est le meurtrier, de ce que je comprends, hein. Can be proof that, forgot to tell me that, was framed because needs me to believe. Was stolen my buggy, was here to end buggy, was buggy in disguise, was eaten by buggy. Je pense qu'on peut tenter un truc comme ça.
The hunting photo leads me to believe Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy.
The hunter and the hunted.
A secret society, an order of hunters, seeking out mysterious and elusive creatures.
The order goes further than this one man. and much further than this one swamp.
The whole thing is kind of distressing. I knew something was wrong as soon as I stepped into that office.
I'm glad you've finally come around. It's not just
But what about Remington? He was a member of this order?
He made Boggy his own personal project, his own obsession. For years he hunted the creature, the potential perfect addition to his collection.
But he owned the tourist attraction. He set it up himself, didn't he?
He did. It was just his way of forming a legal loophole. Since the area became protected, he and his friends were unable to come here for hunting anymore. Boggy's Bog was just a front for his own little game. A man pursuing a creature.
A creature that might not even exist.
And that's why Remington kept a rifle nearby at all times?
Well, exactly. He didn't want to take any chances.
Now, don't you see? I did this place a service. Did Boggy a service. That creature, he can live in peace again.
Can he? You tried to frame him for murder. You wanted everyone to think he was some kind of ruthless predator?
Well, think about it. Once he became suspected of murder, they'd have no choice but to shut this whole place down. Everyone would finally realize they had no business here.
But he's not a killer. You're the one who...
Detective.
It's
finished. Well, don't be angry. You should be glad. It's finally time to leave the swamp. You have another job to do.
I don't know.
Not that it makes any difference to somebody like you, but I never intended to kill him. Just to scare him. Convince him Boggy wasn't going to let him live here in peace any longer. But, true to form, he had his rifle on him. You worked out the rest yourself.
Je ne sais pas quoi répondre, je vais répondre ça.
Well, Mr. Everstone, I'm afraid you'll still have to come with us. Fortunately, there's a police station just a few miles down.
Hey, wait!
Oh! Oh!
Aha!
Looks like you solved more than one mystery tonight.
Eh ben écoutez, c'était pas mal du tout ce petit jeu. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Bah du coup, il y a légitime défense, il s'est fait tirer dessus. Mais oui, totalement, totalement. Pour moi, il y a totalement légitime défense. Et en vrai, c'était pas une mauvaise personne. Hein. C'était un accident, mais bon.
Grimoire.
Ah.
Well, what did they decide to do?
We had Mr. Everstone questioned. He was happy to tell us everything he knew. A number of rumors going around the department have been confirmed.
And Remington's office?
Searched down to the last detail. And well, we agree with you. But I know what you're thinking. I'd love to put an end to it, just the same as you. But there's always...
Are we going after them?
We better be.
Ha ha ha. Merveilleux, merveilleux. Bien sûr qu'on va faire les suites, Miel. Bien sûr. Hop, écoutez, on va quitter. Hop, on se passe sur un petit blabla. Tranquillou pépouze, oui, bien sûr qu'on va faire les suites. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Moi, j'ai trouvé très sympa ce petit jeu. Je crois qu'il nous manque un succès, hein, mais c'est pas dramatique. C'est pas dramatique du tout. Je vais regarder où est-ce que je peux vous raid. Alors, où est-ce qu'on va? Oh, bah tiens, il y a Aria qui fait du Dark Souls. Je pense qu'on va aller lui donner un peu de force. J'ai cru comprendre, vu le titre du live, que c'était un peu compliqué. Qui veut du sel? Son live s'appelle. Du coup, merci beaucoup à tout le monde d'avoir suivi ce live Détective Grimoire. C'était un peu laborieux, mais j'espère que ça vous a plu. Quoi qu'il en soit, ce jeu est terminé. On verra probablement pour faire les suites, mais pas tout de suite. Sachant que je sais que j'en ai au moins une ou deux dans ma liste. Hein. Des détectives grimoires, j'en ai au moins une ou deux. Mais bon, du coup, j'espère que ça vous a plu. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été là. Et puis, je ne peux pas. Pourquoi je ne peux pas raid derrière? Enfin, Twitch, fais un effort. Non, c'est le raid. J'ai dû faire une faute de frappe. Tout va bien. Eh ben, merci beaucoup à vous. Prenez soin de vous. Et puis, moi, je vous dis à la prochaine et bonne nuit. Salut, salut!
Bing bong.